AVC, John here, Sunday morning. Hope you're doing well. First thing first, something I've not done before. I noticed on my channel, which I don't look very often, that the last time I looked at 187 subscribers. So I'm quite pleased with that. So thanks for everybody that's subscribed. It's great getting your comments. I do try and think about subjects that get people's minds going. So today's video is I'm going to show you a couple of acquisitions from this last week. Talk about those, and then I'm going to talk about a subject, and I'm going to try and express it in a good way. This video may never see the light of day if I don't, because I always review. So firstly, let's look at the acquisitions. I had this on Facebook yesterday, Zooroper by U2, 1993 album. Now I did show this about 4 months ago when I was in Henry's Records, and I didn't buy it at the time because of the cost. And I've been back in the shop, must be 3 or 4 times, and every time I go in it's still sitting there in the U2 rack. I did buy this at the time, which is Act Up Baby U2, and I have to say I was one of those people that stopped really listening to U2 after Rattle and Hum. I bought No Line on the Horizon on CD, but I wasn't a serious fan anymore after having loved the early stuff. And it was only through watching Brett, Life on This Planet blog, and Jesse's Super Turbo Blur, and here and there enthusiasm for U2 that sort of rekindled my interest. So when I spotted these records, this one's not, the really collectible one's got 12 postcards on, this one didn't, but nevertheless this was a remarkably good price, remarkably good, in fact so good that I thought it must have been priced incorrectly. This one, which I bought yesterday, was overpriced I think, but it was sitting there just taunting me, and in the end I had to buy it because it was in such good condition. Now what I really want to say is that I, for some reason, whatever reason, whether it's a media, massively misjudged U2. I never particularly liked the singles that came out after 1990, but I only got this yesterday, I listened to it 3 times. There's one track on there called Lemon, track 4 on side 1, and I just love it. It's such a departure from what they did before, and you know, why not be experimental? I've been reading The Severed Alliance, Morrissey and Marr recently, and Johnny Marr states as one of his influences going into the formation of the Smiths was a Boy by U2, which did on Facebook. There was a bit of a not heated debate, but a bit of debate after somebody said that it wasn't very good, which I don't personally agree with, and I think that U2 get a bad rap sometimes. I mean, Bono's a bit precious, but then, you know, aren't we all sometimes? So that has been a real eye-opener, and it sort of, to me, signifies the beauty of the VC, simply because it makes you review things and consider other people's enthusiasm and think, well, why do they like it? And I feel better for listening to this record. It's coincidental really, there's some scientific survey came out last week saying that new music stimulates parts of the brain which don't normally get stimulated even by music that you've heard before. So I suppose that gives us a license now to go and buy lots and lots. I am trying to just buy quality at the minute, sort of targeted acquisitions. And this was the other thing that I ordered last week. I actually ordered this on my phone when we were in Portugal last weekend, which is the miracle of modern technology. So much talk about it, and it's a fantastic album. You know, for somebody who's 67, who's done everything you can do in music. The track that stands out to me are The Stars Are Out Tonight, which is the 3rd track on side 1. But the great thing is there's a CD with it as well. So it's a double album with a CD, and it was £22, which I think we pay more in the UK than in the US for records on the whole. There was a bit of a sticker on the shrink, which I've taken off and put on the PVC. And I actually did compare it to this album as well, which is David Bowie's first album. This is the UK, sorry, his second album. Quite collectible this is. And it just occurred to me what a genius he was in 1968, and in 2013 he's still churning out quality music. So those are my weekly acquisitions. The main subject of this is something me and my wife were talking about when we were having a meal. We were eating in this room surrounded by music, and I cherish this collection. I've made it, I've put most of it together, my wife's contributed to it, But what happens when the inevitable happens, which is waiting for us all in the future? And I don't want this to sound maudlin because it's not intended to be. What happens to the music? And this was highlighted by the death of a good friend of mine, somebody I didn't know. And he had, I won't go into the detail, but the reality is he was a musician who had a focused collection of records, and part of dealing with the estate of that person was the consideration of the disposal of his records. And because music was so associated with his life, and because he was a musician, a lot of people associated, a number of people, particularly my friend Hugh, didn't really want to do it himself. They didn't feel right taking them to a dealer, but they also didn't want to go through the rigmarole of messing with memories which they associated with him. So I offered to dispose of this collection. I did mention it on Facebook last week, and I have been on my own this weekend. My wife's been to a wedding in Cambridgeshire, so I got back in on Friday, and there was about 120 odd of these records, and then there was another collection called the History of Rock and Roll, which was to do with a magazine, which I won't talk about now. I thought it would be quite maudlin, if you like to use an old-fashioned word, to sit and look through these records, but I opened a bottle of wine, or I had a couple of beers, then I opened a bottle of wine, and started listening to records, and it became very clear to me then that music is meant to be listened to and loved and cherished. So the upshot of it is that I'm disposing of this small focused collection. It's very folk oriented. It will be through the Facebook trading page, and I've done a bit of video and a list. Now the plan is that I'll put the video on Casey's sales page, and leave it open for a fortnight. And if you're interested in buying any of the records, then I'll more than happily sell them to you. The couple of points I will make is, one, I'm not going to take any commission from this whatsoever, and I will take no money myself from them. I do intend to buy some of the records myself, but I feel it is the most respectful way. I could put these on eBay, but the reality is that I know there are 800 or 900 people who love music who are in the Facebook community, and I don't know how many people in the VC worldwide. So the only thing I would say is that I've put prices against all of them. I don't want to be getting people offer it, making me offers, or I think that's not worth it. It just is what it is. There's a price on there. If you don't want to pay that, then that's fair enough. If you want to ask me some questions about the standards, etc., that's absolutely fine. I'll answer those. And the bottom line is that it's a nice focused collection of music from somebody who loved music, and it's right that they should go to other people. So I apologise if this seems like a bit of an advert. It is one, but I hope that somebody would dispose of my records one day. Well, I would hope that the kids would want them, really, but I would hope that they would be disposed of in the same sort of fashion. So apologise if this has been a bit of a downer for anybody, but it's an opportunity to acquire some nice records. Have a look, see what you think, and let me have your comments. Hope you're doing well. Take care, and see you soon.